What I'm going to talk about today is the 4-13-65 Recruitment Planner. It's a tool I have designed over the last few years that will help you become more effective in your role as a recruitment consultant. It will help you make more placements and it will help you grow your business. I am so confident about the results you will get whilst using the planner, I offer a 100% money back guarantee on every planner that I sell. Used in the correct manner and in its entirety, the 4-13-65 Recruitment Planner will assist you in making hundreds of thousands of dollars more over the next 12 months. This is not some morning show money back guarantee. This is just me standing behind my product and saying if you use it correctly in the way that it's designed, it will help you make more placements. Okay, let's talk about the business planning section at the front of the planner. This is your ultimate roadmap to the quarter ahead. So it's day one of the quarter and you need to plan ahead. First of all, you need to decide on a target, whether that's the amount of billings that you would like to produce this quarter or the amount of placements that you would like to make this quarter. Ultimately, it's about your choice and your targets. Let's not get carried away just yet and set ourselves a target of $1 million this quarter. Not this time, anyway. You need to be realistic. The whole idea of the planner is to help you continuously improve on the last quarter's figures, each and every quarter. If you build $60,000 last quarter, don't expect to jump that figure to $200,000 this quarter. It's unrealistic. What we're going to try and do is work on the basis that we're going to improve each and every quarter by 3 placements. So take your average placement value. Let's just say it's $15,000 and times it by 3. So you want to make extra billings of $45,000. So if you build $50,000 last quarter, we're looking to improve that by $45,000. So your target is now $95,000. It's very achievable, but it's also a vast improvement on last quarter. Within the business plan section, what we're going to do is work out some simple maths. We're going to break things down to the ridiculous, if you like, because ahead of us is 13 weeks. We can't just say that we want to bill $95,000 and just assume it's going to happen. We've got to break down exactly what we need to do on a day-to-day basis in order to achieve that figure. Let's get back to those simple maths. Using figures to make it simple. Okay, let's just say we've got a target of $70,000 this quarter. Our average placement value is $10,000. Therefore, we need to make 7 placements this quarter. It's simple. So just take your target, divide it by your average placement value, and that'll give you the amount of placements that you need to make this quarter. So, 7 placements is the target. Now you have to work out how many people in general you need to interview in order to find the right amount of candidates and make that amount of placements. Now this is based on your figures of last quarter. How many jobs you need to work on to make the desired amount of placements and so on. Now to say that recruitment is completely a numbers game would be false. However, for a very large part of what we do, the activities we perform equals the dollars that we produce. And I say that again. The activities that we perform equals the dollars that we produce. So think back to last quarter, and in fact take your diary and add up how many of each activity you actually performed. So count up the amount of interviews that you actually did, count up the amount of marketing calls that you made, count up the amount of reference checks you did, etc., 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 and bring a total for last quarter. Why we're doing that is if you interviewed 70 candidates last quarter and you made 4 placements last quarter, as a rule of thumb you will probably need to interview 122 candidates this quarter. Then break that down to the amount of weeks in the quarter, divide it by 13, and this is the amount of interviews you'll have to do on a weekly basis this quarter in order to achieve your target. Hopefully you're with me on the maths. 70 candidates last quarter equals 4 placements. Obviously we then divide that by 4, times it by 7 to reach the 122 candidates for this quarter. If my maths are correct, that actually works out at just over 9 interviews per week. But let's just say it's 9, of course. I want to make this very clear then. I want to reiterate the point that I made earlier. Recruitment is not just a numbers game. Obviously, we always need to be continuously improving our skills in every area that we do. And so it's not just about doing the numbers of activities. However, what we are trying to plan now, what we are trying to work out is basically the amount of activities that you will need to do to produce these figures. This is a basic rule of thumb business plan. We then need to do the same maths equation for all of the activities that we need to do on a daily basis. This math works for all of the activities you need to set yourself throughout the quarter. So let's just use an example. So let's just say you made 240 cold marketing calls last quarter. Take that figure, divide it by 4, which is the number of placements you made last quarter, and then times it by 7, the amount of placements that you wanted to make this quarter. This gives you a figure of 420 marketing calls you need to make this quarter, which is just over 32 calls per week, and more importantly, just over 6 calls per day. That's just for your cold marketing calls, of course. Now you've got to go through and do the same maths for each activity that you perform on a daily basis. Okay, once you've completed the maths for all of the activities within the planner, so marketing calls, phone screens, reference checks, interviews, client visits, client and candidate interviews, floats, referrals, once all these figures are complete, you now have your roadmap for a successful quarter. But it doesn't stop there, of course. Now we need to get to the other parts of the planner and see how we put this plan into place, and more importantly, stick to it. Okay, now we're going to talk about the daily task list. Now that we have our activity roadmap set, we know exactly what we have to achieve on a daily basis to hit our chosen billing targets. Now let's talk about how we can organise our day and use the other sections of the planner. The daily task list, or the to-do list, is no revelation. And realistically, the daily task list is based on the same principles as a to-do list, but with some very simple but highly effective twists on an old theme. The basic principle is the same. You have a daily task list. The evening before, when you finish the day, you start to plan your following day's tasks. You'll have a plan of tasks that you wish to achieve and you write them into your planner. During the day, of course, you will add more things to the list because of conversations you have and new ideas that will become more apparent and get added to your list as they materialize. When you complete a task, you take your pen and strike through the task completely, from left to right, and cross it out. It has to be a full stroke crossing out every word. This is a defining moment of the task. It is complete and you can move on. Now I know that might sound a little pedantic, but it's true. You take the task and you strike it through from left to right, and it has more of an effect on your day and more of an effect on your motivation than you could actually possibly believe. When you're planning your day, of course, this really has to reflect your activities that you've already planned for the day. So if you know that you've got to do 6 cold marketing call lists, you go to your marketing list that you may have on your database or in an Excel spreadsheet, and you map out the 6 calls that you're going to make for the day. If you know that you've got 2 interviews for the day, obviously you mark them down as part of your tasks as well. This can't be too comprehensive. The more tasks that you put in your list and the more that you cross out during the day, not only will it help with your motivation, but it will also help with your precision organisation. One of the main ideas, of course, is to stay focused on one task at a time and do not get distracted by minor tasks that interrupt your train of thought. Let's say you're writing a candidate report for a particular client. A phone call comes in and it gives you an extra task to do for the day, whether it's to send a resume to someone, whether it's to send the reference checks. That gets added to your daily task list, and then you go straight back to doing your candidate report. This way that you don't get interrupted. If you come back time and time again and start a task over and over again, you will waste time because you have to get your brain back into the same gear, brain back into the same level for the task that you were actually performing at the time. So make sure that we complete one task at a time. As part of the daily task list, you will see 2 columns, one to the left and one to the right. The one to the left is the timing column. This is simple. When you write a task onto the list, simply estimate the amount of time that the task is going to take you in minutes and mark it in that particular column next to the task. The reason for this is pretty simple. If you know you have 20 minutes before your next meeting or appointment, you can scan through your daily task list and pick the item or items that you know you can complete within this time frame that you have. How often do you have an appointment in 20 minutes time and then just decide that it's not worth starting something else until you finish that? Using this system, it will help you demolish the smaller and quicker things off of your list, and it will really help you to become more efficient with every single minute of the day. Okay, let's talk about another attribute of the timing column. Let's just say you get out of bed the wrong side, or you're a bit dusty from the night before. Not every morning can we come to work highly motivated. So you grab your cup of coffee, you look at your daily task list that you've created the night before. We go through the timing column and pick out the items that are going to take you the least amount of time. So let's say, for example, there's 5 items on your list that are going to take 3 minutes. And all you do is simply attack these items first. So in the first 15 minutes of the day, you've destroyed 5 things off your to-do list. It doesn't matter who you are. That's got to help with your motivation for the rest of the day. You strike through from left to right 5 things off your daily task list, and boy, you are ready to take the day head on. The right-hand column of the daily task list is your priority column. This is as it sounds, using a simple A, B and C system. When you enter a task into the list, you mark it with the priority that suits the task. Obviously, if it's something that needs doing today, it gets an A priority. If it's something that it can wait a little while, it gets a B, and so on and so on and so on. You decide which task to complete first, simply based on the priority that it has in your daily task list. For example, if you have 20 minutes to spare before your next meeting, you have 2 tasks that are marked priority B that are going to take you 10 minutes, and 1 task marked at 20 minutes that is a priority A. You know which one of these tasks that you need to do first. right? You're already becoming more efficient and more effective. Okay, so we get to the end of the day. We haven't completed all of the things on our task list. It's simple. You just simply transfer the tasks left on your daily task list for today, and you transfer them to the daily task list for tomorrow, and you prioritize them accordingly. Of course, if it's a day later, obviously something that was priority B might now change to priority A. By doing this on a daily basis, any tasks that seem to get pushed to the side or forgotten about during the day, they rise in priority, and therefore, again, it helps you become more efficient in completing the right task at the right time. In the bottom right hand corner of the 2-page spread, you will see the daily activity record box. This again is simple to use and also very effective for keeping records of, guess what? That's right, your daily activities. These are the activities that we set within our business plan that you need to achieve on a daily basis. Once you have completed a task, such as a phone screen or a marketing call, you mark it in the box using a normal tally chart method. It is vitally important that you keep records of every activity that you do during the day in order to ensure you are on target for your self-prescribed activities and, of course, on target for billing what you want to bill for the quarter. At the end of the day, simply total up each activity and check it against your daily targets. It is absolutely paramount that your daily activities match your business plan. This is a point we spent a lot of time working out exactly how many placements we need to make, how many marketing calls we need to make, how many interviews we need to make, etc., etc. This system works, but it will only work if your daily activity records match your business plan. That's why we planned it out. The buzzword box. You'll find this at the top left-hand corner of the 2-page spread. It's a very effective yet simple repetition learning tool. Every week as business people, we tend to find new habits or new techniques to enhance the way we work. For instance, at the Monday morning training, one of your colleagues or your external recruitment trainer says something that strikes a chord, perhaps a new question to ask each one of your prospective clients. A lot of the time, even great ideas slip out of our mind just a few minutes after we have heard them. Why? Well, simply normal day routine of our work day takes over and we forget about it. This is where the buzzword box comes into effect. Every day of the week, you write this new idea or question into the box. Repeat the same phrase in the box every morning and implement it into your daily routine until it becomes a habit and is formed an integral part of that routine. We should always look to be enhancing our skills, so there should never be a time when you are not looking to try something new or even re-enter a habit into the box that you once used but for some reason have omitted from your business repertoire. This simple system will help you get it back on track. The daily comment box. This is just as important as the rest of the systems within the planner, and it must be filled out on a daily basis. This is your cut-off point. The end of the day when you've transferred all of your uncompleted tasks to the next day and are ready to call it a night. Place a comment in the box about your day. Critique yourself, or pat yourself on the back even. Just a few words will suffice, but it's just as important, metaphorically speaking, to put a line under your day as it is to plan the next one. It means that you can turn your brain off, switch your brain off, go home and relax when you need to. Relax your brain so that you can come into the next day firing on all cylinders. Throughout the planner, you will see weekly and 4-weekly reporting sheets. At the end of each week and at the end of every 4-week period, there is a section in the planner where you can total up your daily activities and, of course, your results, placements that you've made, client visits that you've made, etc., etc. This is to ensure that if there are any adjustments to be made to your daily routine, that they can be made quickly and efficiently, ensure you will always stay on track and on target. Use these as a marker in your recruitment roadmap. Don't let things slip away from you. Earn the money you deserve to earn and stick to the activities that you set yourself. At the end of the week, if you find that you've made 20 less marketing calls than you needed to, you know that next week you've got to make that extra effort and ensure that the activities that you set yourself, you stick to. Thanks very much for listening today. I hope this video and audio will really help you get the most out of your 4-13-65 recruitment planner. Please trust me when I tell you, if you follow the steps within the planner, follow your business plan that you set out at the beginning of the quarter, this will help you make more placements and it will help you build a better business. I guarantee it. If you haven't already got a copy of the 4-13-65 recruitment planner, please go to my website, www.glimmermc.com.au, and you can purchase through the web shop. Thanks again for your time, and for those of you that think you've been listening to Ben Elton for the last few minutes, my name is Pete Martin. Good night.